Okay. 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 And oh,
Where did my phone go?
right there.
You were so ready.
You can't take life too seriously. Okay, so let's do another introduction.
Yeah.
I'm Ashley with Mind Body Alliance, and I'm here interviewing my friend, and she wants to introduce herself. So go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Tasha. I'm a physical therapist and a strength and conditioning coach.
Welcome, welcome.
Thanks for having me. This is so exciting.
I'm excited too. So, you met Sterling, my husband, another part of Mind Body Alliance, online, and I think it was through like a photography group page?
It was a photographer meetup page. Yeah.
That's awesome. He was telling me that there were so many, people that were interested in kind of this interview type, coaching photo shoot process. And so when he linked up with you, I was so excited to meet you in person because of what you do. So please share. Well, first of all, share your what pays the bills, and share what you want to.
What I want to pay the bills.
Pay the bills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the business that I'm in, we call my main job my muggle job.
Oh, there you go.
So my muggle job that pays the bills right now. So I'm a licensed physical therapist.
Yeah.
I work in an orthopedic setting. So outpatient. I really like working with post-op.
Yeah.
Post-op is it's pretty gratifying. You get someone coming in crutches and you leave, playing basketball.
Yeah.
So I've been a physical therapist for 3 years now.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's
Awesome.
what pays the bills. What I do outside of work, I am a
Your wizard job?
Yeah, I guess you call it that. It is very sparkly. I do wear a lot of robes.
And there's powder.
Yeah, I'm an aerialist, so I'm a professional dancer.
Yeah.
An aerialist. How do I explain it? If it hangs from the ceiling, I've probably done it at least once.
That's awesome.
My main apparatus is pole.
Yeah.
So I do pole sport competitions.
Yeah.
And then lollipop, which is like a hoop on a stick.
Cool.
And then aerial hoop. Learning some other apparatuses now too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do some aerial work and dancing, and that's like the fun job that is starting to pay a little more bills.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
That's
right now it's
awesome.
just a very expensive hobby that's paying.
Okay,
back
how
a
did
little
you
bit.
get into it? Let's start there.
So yeah, so it starts with being a bikini competitor.
Oh, cool.
So I did bodybuilding when I was pretty young, got out of school, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I always liked working out. So I started working out, and for those of us that work out and do bodybuilding, we kind of understand that it's just a daily grind. You just show up and you do it. And then, like other women, I had a hard time growing my upper body, especially my back.
Mm-hmm.
And there came a point where I just got really frustrated and bored.
Yeah.
And one of my friends said, "You would really like pole dancing." Like, really?
Yeah.
So I took a class 7 years ago, and 7 years later I'm still taking it.
That's awesome.
And it's really fed on each other, because now I work out and lift to cross train to be better as a pole dancer. And then so lifting isn't just what I do anymore, because before I was doing pole dancing to cross train for the gym, and now it's the other way around.
Yeah.
But now I can't have one without the other, because I would not be where I am with pole dancing without my strength from the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it keeps me healthy for what I do in the air too.
My one of my girlfriends that I work out with, actually, her and her husband just recently got into rollerblading, skating, whatever you want to call it. But either way, for the last year or two, they just recently got into it. And I can't tell you how many times when we are doing our routine, she's like, "Oh, this is going to be good for my skates." Cross training for what you're enjoying, right?
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that's the key to happiness, is staying vibrant, right? And being able to do the things that you enjoy doing.
Yeah, and it's such a creative outlet. I can't tell you how many times I've had to come up with a new concept, a new act, and it just like flexes your creative muscles, creating new costumes, creating new acts.
Yeah.
And it just gives you a little bit more motivation to go to the gym, because I don't know if you know, we know that exercising is good for you. We know we should do it, but that motivation is really hard to come by. So it's definitely helped on those days where it's like, no, I need to do this so that I can continue to do the other thing that I want to do.
Yeah. That's a great explanation. Is to a lot of people will ask me in our coaching world is, you know, how do you stay motivated, or what makes you do it? And honestly, the motivation is that, like, I know that I need to do it. I know that to continue this journey into longevity, if I don't, then I can easily fall into that gap of like immobility, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm lucky enough that I have my grandmother, my granny. She is still with us, and just recently during COVID, she finally stopped teaching her classes at the YMCA, and she's in her 70s. And she would teach Zumba. She would teach all sorts of different classes at the Y, but she, for as long as I've known, she has been into taking care of her body, to the point where I have memories of our childhood, us being on the beach and her doing like some side leg lifts, and we're just like, she's so crazy. But it's proof, because she still is. She's moving and grooving.
My grandma did the same thing.
Yeah.
And we did the same thing to her too.
Right? And now I'm like, she's not so crazy. I'm so
These grandmas were onto something. Yeah.
For sure. And I think of her, honestly, when on those days that I don't want to, I'm like, yeah, but I want to be able to live in my 70s and 80s and 90s and still be able to enjoy life. Because what is it if you're just stuck in the same spot?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're all going to age. It's just we get to choose how we're going to age. We do have a little bit of control over that.
Yeah.
And it starts pretty early.
Yeah.
And I think those of us that are like my age, our age, they kind of take it for granted, because you can get away with abusing your body in your 20s. It starts to catch up with you in your 30s, and then, you know, you can't really get away with some of that stuff. And then, like, I've heard the regret with some of my patients. I should have taken care of my body more. And to be honest, me as a physical therapist, that's a great motivation for me. Yeah. Because I hear it all the time. And then my patients, you know, the cool ones that I tell about my magic job, the cool ones that are like, no, say yes to everything, do everything that you can, because one day you might not be able to. Just keep on doing it. Like, don't worry, I am.
Yeah.
Just keep on saying yes to all these opportunities.
Right, because you can. And I mean, I think on those days that you don't want to do it, ask yourself, well, what could I miss out on if I lose my mobility and lose the strength to be able to do all of that? With your magic job, what do you see yourself doing, or what's the goal?
It's pretty open, because to be honest, the things that I'm doing right now are beyond my wildest dreams. Like a year ago, I didn't know I'd be doing all of this stuff.
And only a year. Like people think that it takes forever to get to a point to feel the way you're feeling. Yeah,
I mean, 7 years ago, I took my first class, and I remember seeing the girls performing at these local shows and thinking that could never be me. And then I just, I kept on taking classes. There's progressive overload in a way with pole dancing as well. There's different levels. You just continue showing up. Yeah. You're not going to be able to do these crazy tricks on day one, but you just keep on showing up just like you do at the gym. Yeah. It's a perfect parallel. But I just was taking classes, and then you just keep on setting big goals. You keep on hitting those goals. You keep on overreaching them. Yeah. So the goal for me would be to perform out of state, just to continue building acts. Sounds so spoiled, but I have enough gold medals now that I am okay with not competing as much. Yeah. Because now, again, it sounds really spoiled. Now that I'm being paid to perform, I don't necessarily want to pay to compete. Yeah, no, absolutely. So I would love to do some out-of-state performances. Yeah. I've applied to a couple burlesque festivals. Cool. But that's just the next goal. Fun. I'm just going to continue building out acts. There's some dream acts that I want to do.
Like what? Say it. Say it.
Last year I skipped the Christmas season, but the season before that I did a Grinch routine. Yeah. I'm gonna build another Grinch routine on top of that. Awesome. I've got a Little Red Riding Hood act that I'm working on too. And it's just, part of it is like, I want to make costumes.
Yeah.
I just want to make these costumes to just make them, because that process is really fun. Very sparkly.
Yeah.
It's really
Fur.
fun. For lots of, it's mostly rhinestones, to be honest, lots of bedazzling, lots of fur, lots of bedazzling, but it's just a lot of fun to make these routines.
Yeah.
So that's the next goals. Nothing too crazy, but we'll see.
Yeah. So what are some of the out of town things that you are looking to do? Like you said burlesque, but what are there any ones in particular?
No, not really. I mean, there's certain states that I want to go to.
Okay.
Like I would love to go to Seattle. I did a travel contract in Seattle one summer, so I'd love to be able to go to Seattle as like a performance trip rather than a work trip. But there's also a circus center up there that I just want to travel to take classes at. Yeah. And then there's a couple different festivals, but mostly it's just there's certain states that I just want to go to just to experience. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, I think we as adults have to learn that everything that we do is evolutionary. Like we are allowed to dream, and we are allowed to change those dreams too, right? To fit maybe where we're at in life or what we're looking to do, because even those goals change. Like you said, you started off, competing in the bikini shows. Would you have told yourself you'd be where you're at now, standing on that stage?
God, no idea. No idea I'd end up here. Still in a sparkly bikini.
Yes.
Yeah, still in sparkly clothes. Yeah. Still wearing the same amount of clothing.
Yes.
Yeah, I never would have guessed it.
Yeah.
No tan either, though. I will take that. It's a lot better.
Okay. Okay. Perfect.
I wouldn't say that competing is completely off the books.
Yeah.
I think about returning a lot.
Yeah.
Because I've learned so much. Because I was 20, that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was 10 years ago, and I've learned a lot, put on a lot more muscle mass.
Yes.
So I do think that I would be a lot more competitive, and now there's different divisions to compete in.
Yeah.
And the wellness division might be one that I would look at, but we'll see. Yeah. That's a very different sport to consider than pole sport.
What do you find most challenging for yourself in your aerial sport?
Ooh. It's wanting to do too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're in the unique place where my closest friends, it's not that we struggle with being like, oh, I don't want to do anything. It's that we all want to take so many classes.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of a particular classmate who just wants to keep on drilling stuff and doing conditioning stuff, and he just doesn't know how to rest.
Yeah.
It's because we love our sport so much.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I mean, the shoulder injury and nursing from overdoing it one day. And so it's just like, it was my fault. It was my fault. But it's hard to rest, because when you choose an activity that's fun, you don't want to stop it. Like you could tell me to quit in the middle of my deadlift.
You'd be like,
my
okay,
deadlift day,
fine.
I'm like,
Fine.
twist my arm, right?
Yeah.
But like to stop going to class, because it's not just learning the class, it's not that it's just fun, it's your community.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I'm with these girls and guys so many days a week, you become close in that way.
Yeah.
So it's just another community, so it's really hard to walk away from that stuff.
Yeah, and give yourself that rest. I can agree with that in my own personal journey with, strength training is, Sterling will have to tell me, when's the last time you took a week off? I'm like, let me look at the calendar. Because I find mental clarity, I find joy, I find the routine keeps me consistent, and there's probably a small part in me that feels like if I take a break, I'll fall all the way off the cliff. So there's a little bit of fear of that maybe. But then I remind myself, and what I tell my clients, my students, what I tell them is, I'm like, yeah, but today is a day, tomorrow's another day, we can try again. I have to do the same thing for myself.
Oh my gosh, taking your own advice has got to be the hardest. Yeah. I'm a terrible patient, because I know what I should be doing, but that's hard to take your own advice sometimes. But it's also hard to think of yourself like that, because you just want to be that superhero that does it all. Yeah, so it's hard to remember that you have to take rest days too.
Yeah, I hear you. So before we close, I would love to ask you, what are 3 non-negotiables for your everyday life, for your everyday routine?
My everyday routine.
Yeah, it could be anything from like cold plunge, right? Or
God, I wish. I wish I had a
very
cold plunge.
soon, very soon. But it could be anything like that, or your strength training, or your classes that you take, or reading for a half an hour. Any just non-negotiables.
Non-negotiable. I have to do something active every day. So not necessarily strength training, because we know that you can't necessarily strength train the same muscle groups every day, gaps in it, right?
Yeah.
So the way that I have shaped my exercise routine is on the days that I'm not lifting, I am either doing a hot yoga class, right? And I use hot yoga as a way to cross train.
Yeah.
And it's also for my brain, because it calms my brain down. Or I'm stretching at home, I'm doing my own mobility at home.
Okay.
I have to do something active.
Yeah.
When I'm sick and I can't work out, it feels weird.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. There have been times where I was put on bed rest and like, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my non-negotiables, I have to do something active every day. And then I have to do something that makes me smile at least once a day.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's part of like my mental health part too.
Yeah.
So whether it's checking in with a friend or reading a passage out of my favorite book.
Yeah.
Or to be honest, it's usually checking in with a friend.
Yeah.
I've got what does that mean? Like every girl group has a 3-person group with a weird name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I won't say it on camera, but I've got a girl group that has it's a take on live, laugh, love.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah.
Love
Lift
it.
is one of the words that we changed it out to, because
There
we're
you
all
go.
very active.
Yeah.
So checking in with the girls.
Okay.
Doing something active, and then sleep.
Yes.
Sleep hygiene. Now I will say I'm not the best at it. This is one of those things where
This is
like
why
I'm
it's a
human
goal.
too.
It's a non-negotiable.
I'm human. So either I go to bed early, or I make sure I have nothing on the other side of my morning and I can sleep in a little bit further. I have to say though, not that I'm that much older, and I hate when people say this, as I get older though, like I can't sleep in as much.
Yeah.
So I try to go to bed earlier, but that would be it. Sleep. I try to be really on top of sleep and sleep hygiene. So no screens before bed, nothing stressful, no blue light.
Try telling that to teenagers.
I'm sure. I couldn't imagine being a teenager today.
No.
Does he know
no.
a time without cell
Gosh.
phones?
Right? Or does he know how to tell time without a cell phone?
Yeah.
He
I
does.
couldn't imagine that.
No, I mean, it's one of those things where you don't know how they manage without it, because they've never known life without it, where, I feel like, our generation, we're right in the fray of like, we were introduced to it, but it wasn't necessary. And so we were
embedded.
Yeah. So we were able to know and be who we are without that influence. So yeah, I could go on a tangent with that.
Oh yeah.
But I agree. I think sleep is often overlooked, especially when people are trying to get healthy.
Yes.
And some of my students, I ask them, what is your sleep like? And the responses that I get are always, I don't want to say shocking, but it's more of a reminder as to why it's a part of the conversation, because they just don't realize it.
Yeah. And again, with whatever age they're at, you can get away with not doing all the right things, because your body's quite resilient.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, it's just like something's gonna have to give. And for me, when I wasn't sleeping enough, I knew it was gonna happen. It's like, I'm gonna get sick.
Yep.
I'm not sleeping enough. I was sleeping like 5 hours a night.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
no.
I was burning the candle at both ends, and everything else was fine. I was eating enough, drinking enough, exercising, everything, but I just wasn't getting enough sleep, and I knew I was going to get sick, and I did.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a self-fulfilling prophecy, but it hit me hard, and then ever since then we've been working really hard towards sleep hygiene.
Good. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that illness is often a great representation of where you're at.
Oh, absolutely.
And it doesn't mean that, like for us, like we've said, we are strength trained and we are focusing on what we're eating and all of those great things. But if we don't really make sure that there's a balance in that, our bodies will tell us. And when you are in that space, like you said, when you've been on bed rest, you're like, oh my gosh, that's when you realize I am so grateful that I can move when I'm able to. And I'll say that when I'm on a long run or I am doing something challenging in the gym, I will tell myself, I'm doing this for the person that can't. because they're not able to, and I may not know them, but I can't imagine how they're feeling.
Yeah.
And so just push a little harder.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. How'd you guys start with Mind Body Alliance?
Honestly, it was a joint effort. It all started with the gym.
Which is beautiful. I love this.
Thank you. My husband has kind of an addictive personality, which sometimes it works in our favor, and sometimes, we prefer other things. But in this instance, I was definitely the benefactor. I have always been in strength training and just fitness oriented. And once we had it in our house, I was like, I don't have to go like fight people for like the bench and stuff. That's amazing. So when we started it off in this little rectangle here, it just started to grow, and I am an educator at heart. And so I started to really think about how can we help benefit others? How can we teach others to live a life that's worth living? And be an example to our children. I want them to know and understand why we do what we do, and it's not for the aesthetic part of it, really. That's a bonus, sure.
Yeah.
But it really is about like all the other things, like you mentioned when we were working together. You said it's that mind-body connection. It's the neuro, synapses and all the things, all the science and technology of your mind. It works together, and if you don't do that from my early education background, then I know that it goes away, and I don't want that to happen for me. And so knowing that for myself, I want to educate others on that mind-body connection, right?
Yeah.
And for Sterling, he really wants to get into that personal training, really help others who maybe haven't been in that mental space to do it, or just are starting from the beginning. There are so many people, and because it has been so natural and regular and routine for me, when I started working and coaching people in their nutritional journey, it is amazing to see, number one, the lack of knowledge that people have about fueling their body and eating the right things, and then giving back to your body by building it and treating it the way we do in the gym. Is like we're trying to fuel your body for that longevity and for life. And so just the newness of it for everybody is so exciting for me, because I'm like, oh my gosh, did you know? And it's all these fun facts. I'm like just a kid in a candy store. But that's how it started, was just a love and a passion for it personally, and then wanting to be able to extend it out to everybody and hopefully help them live their best lives.
Yeah,
So,
it's a good blueprint for someone that's looking for that help.
Yeah.
So someone else out there needs to hear all this stuff too.
Yeah, just make it comfortable. Like it doesn't have to be taboo, it doesn't have to be scary. I'm not expecting you to, go to the gym and work out for hours and hours. No, I just little itty bitty movements.
Yeah, just make it accessible, make it easy. Yeah. Because people are very unhealthy right now, and we need to get them moving a little bit more. And it's so much more attainable than I think people think. So much more attainable.
Yeah. Well, and it is so crazy to me too that when you're in this industry, when you're in this world, your social media will certainly feed you all of the things. And it always makes me wonder, do I get all of this influx of information because obviously it's in the algorithm? And then the other side of it, the other spectrum is, what does their social media look like? And what is being sold to them, right? On how to live their best life. And for me, a lot of it is like, abstain from alcohol, it's not good for your brain and all the things. It's all of the things that are meant to serve you better. When on the flip side of that, I imagine people are like, I went out and I drank until I blacked out, and like I was at a rave and like all these things. And the space that they're experiencing or what they're being advertised is like the good life, and to me it sounds awful. You know?
Yes.
So yeah, just went on a tangent on that, but it's fine. It's fine. So where can people find you?
Yeah, so on Instagram, it's my full name .dpt, so Tasha, Nguyen.dpt. My physical therapy and personal training business is at Vivid Performance PT on Instagram as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So are you like an independent physical therapist? Okay.
Yes. So I'm independent. I also will work in a muggle job too, but I'm independent, and it's remote personal training.
Okay.
Some in person in Arizona. In the Ahwatukee area.
Okay.
But yeah, personal training was my first love. I still love to do it. I still would love to coach people through personal training.
Yeah.
So I have that set up. And what I've found is a lot of people just want to know what exercises to do. They don't necessarily need a coach with them.
Yeah.
So that's what I would like to be able to do for them.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much.
me. Thank you so much for having me. This is so much
Thanks
fun.
for jumping in. Both feet. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we'll see if he got that figured out. Hopefully, the lights. But this is such a fun background that we got together, and I think it's so fun. We love color, fur, and glitter, and all the things.
Yeah.
But I just think it's so vibrant and it looks so good in the pictures that I can't wait to see.
I love the symbol.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you.
great.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go see if he's ready.
Yeah.